And please welcome your presenter today, Amanda Dixon, if she's there. Yes, she is. Fantastic.
Hiding in the background.
It's lovely to see you today, Amanda. How are you feeling today? Everything
Yeah,
going well?
really good. Thanks, Rory. I had a night out last night, my first one since lockdown.
Oh, lovely.
So it was,
Very.
very nice. And I'm looking forward to getting this sorted out today so that I can see out again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear.
How's
Yeah.
the dog doing? Is the dog doing well? Is it feeling particularly boisterous today at all? Or?
At the moment he's quiet. But yeah, you are all forewarned. I'm working from home, so the chances of Thor making an appearance are pretty high. He does like to get involved in webinars.
He certainly does. Well, I'll leave it to you to crack on and enjoy the webinar, everyone.
Lovely, thanks very much. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen with you all, and we'll do a quick flick over. Show from beginning and swap presenter. There we go. Lovely. So many of you in the Northeast will know me, but for those who don't, my name is Amanda Dixon and my company is Northeast Social Media. And in normal times, as I've said, I do operate from my offices in North Shields, but we are still currently working from my kitchen table. So there might be a bit of background noise every now and then. The doorbell might go or Thor might join in. If he starts barking, by the way, I'll quickly click on mute until he's finished. Otherwise, it will deafen you all. So I've been a social media specialist for 11 years, and I offer both training and management services to clients. I'm also the social media specialist at the Business Factory in North Tyneside, where I deliver support to any pre-start or established businesses in that area on behalf of the local council and TEDco. And in the past 3 years, I've been working with Facebook and Enterprise Nation on their She Means Business campaign. So I deliver mini training sessions and networking events on their behalf. And I also deliver these masterclasses and online workshops for Digital Drive Durham. Most recently, I've become an accredited Facebook Blueprint Marketing Associate and a Facebook Blueprint Lead Trainer. So I'm one of only about a dozen people in the UK who are actually qualified to deliver training on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, all their apps. But today we're going to look at getting creative with your mobile phone and using your smartphone for business. We've got some great apps I can share with you that will help you make some really good creatives. So there are an estimated 115 million businesses in the world, which is a huge part of the world economy. And when we're talking about small business, we've got to think about how we're going to stand out. But it's important to know that every big business started as a small business. So how we're going to level that playing field and get you heard is to create creatives and really creative content to get you noticed. Oh, a few clicks there. So what's different between marketing on, say, Facebook and traditional marketing like TV, billboard or print? Well, first, what's worth noticing is that the creative process of making great ads hasn't changed. You still need to think about your business challenges, what motivates your audience, so what sort of content are they going to be interested in, and come up with sort of compelling story ideas. And you'll also need to be able to produce visuals to ensure it all pulls it all together and it's all crafted well. Great creative will always be great creative, no matter what it is. Your message needs to be relevant, it needs to be true, and it needs to be interesting. It's got to capture people's attention. It needs to be inspiring, evocative, helpful, or useful. So there are 3,000 pieces of content shared at any given moment. So when Facebook's deciding which content to put in front of you, the software is trying to make it relevant to you based on your previous behaviors on Facebook. So this is from a user's point of view. The software is trying to decide which updates you will have most interest in are most likely to react positively to. And that's what we've got to think about as a business. So if you think about your own personal use on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, you'll see that you're seeing the same people's content over and over again coming through your newsfeed. And that's because the software believes you really want to see it, because in the past, when you've seen that person's software, you've clicked the like button, you've commented on it, or you've paused on it. Even pausing, the software will pick up that you're reading it. And you'll think of somebody that you haven't heard of for ages, and you'll go and look at their profile on Facebook and see that they're actually posting every day. But the reason you're not seeing their stuff is because at some point, something of theirs has come up on your newsfeed and you've ignored it. So the software has picked up that you're not interested in this. And sort of interspersed between these posts, you'll get things like top posts. So that's where you're putting something on Facebook, or somebody has put something on Facebook or Instagram, and there is so much interaction on it that it becomes a top post and gets put into even more people's news feeds. So that's the bit you need to remember when you're creating this content on your Facebook pages, or even on LinkedIn or Instagram. You've got to come up with ways of making it engaging so people interact. They want to interact because they find it fun, they find it engaging. Then it will become a top post and get into more people's news feeds. So we're not just competing with other brands, but also with baby images and holiday pictures and other engaging posts. So if we have to compete with those, we have to be radically interesting. And the content needs to be relevant. Oh, I'll pop back there. It needs to be relevant to the people that we want to reach. If we want a good organic, so by that I mean a free reach, the content will need to be engaging. If people engage with your posts, if they comment on them, if they share them, they're more likely to become those top posts and appear in people's news feeds. And whether you're creating content, or whatever type of content you're creating, you've got to think mobile first, as 90% of time spent on Facebook is from a mobile phone. It was predicted that 75% of all your data would be video by 2020, and it's expected that that number will rise to over 80% by 2022. So with that in mind, you've got to think that video is key. Video is given priority on most of the apps now because users are showing a preference to watching it. And by video, I don't mean that you've got to go and rush out and use video production companies and get beautiful, long, created, crafted videos made for your business. I just mean that, the perfect video is 15 seconds, or a GIF, or something that's moving, something that's going to be eye-catching. And that's mainly what we're going to be looking at today. So everything competes with everything. So that's why it's more important than ever to create great content to the right audience. So this means that you've got multiple different audience and multiple different creatives to reach these audience. So I think the best thing you can do before you start out with your marketing plan is really, really think about that audience. So there are three main tools for finding customers, for example, on Facebook. You have core audiences, custom audiences, and a lookalike audience. So core audience allows you to target people based on their interests, behaviors, demographics, and their location. Custom audiences allow you to reach people who already have a relationship with your business. For example, they visit your website, or you might have an email list with all your customers on it. That would be a custom audience, and you could upload that to Facebook and say, show my advert or my creative to this group of people. Once you've done that, you can start looking at lookalike audiences. So that's where you're going to find customers similar to your best customers. They'll look at your existing customer list, extract the demographic from it as to what people like or how people behave, and they'll go and find you a similar audience that you're not connected with yet. So I hope you all haven't heard this story before, but I'm going to give you an example of a company in Durham who really, really nailed it because they thought about their audience and who they were speaking to. And this was a lady, I know Paul Rory's heard this one before, but this was a lady who was a teaching assistant, and she wanted to earn some extra money by having a clothing company and buying clothes from China and marketing them on a website and on Facebook. So her and her mother stuck in £30 each and bought a batch, £60 worth of dresses from China. And what she didn't do is decide that every woman from a size 8 to a 16 in the UK could buy these dresses. What she did was really thought about her audience and created a buying persona. So she decided that this girl that was going to buy her dress was 19 years old. She was 19 years old and she drank in the big market in Newcastle every Friday and Saturday night. She was bright orange and spray tan, had eyelash extensions, hair extensions, enhanced lips, and didn't wear an awful lot. And if she could get a full outfit for 30 quid, she would buy a new one every Friday and Saturday night because she would never want to be seen dead in the same outfit because there's going to be images of her plastered all over Facebook and Instagram. So that's the detail that she went into, down to how much that person had to spend and what that person looked like. She then got herself a model who fit the description, dressed her in the clothing, and took photographs and short videos of her walking around in the clothes for use on the website. But what she did on Facebook was didn't put on pictures of the dresses and say things like, here's a red dress, click here to buy it. Here's a red dress, it's £30, click here. Because when you put content like that on Facebook, Facebook hide it from appearing in people's news feeds. What she was putting on was things like, yay, 4-day week, or what's your favourite cocktail, or what do you think of this new boy band, and look what Little Mix are up to, and things that would appeal to that 19-year-old. And in her first year, she turned over £750,000. She did her first $1 million in her second year, and obviously she became a multi-millionaire, and she recently sold her company to her mother. And she started on a new venture. But all that is down to the buying persona. The fact that she really, really thought about what content this 19-year-old girl would want to see. And for any of you that don't know, that company is called Pink Boutique. I believe it's still thriving. So once you've established your audience and you've created your buying persona, so you know what it is that's likely to attract them, then you can move on to creating good creative for them. So let's have a look at some examples for you. So good creative on Facebook and Instagram, and really most apps, is built for mobile. I spent years telling people to get their mobile phones and turn them to the side to take landscape pictures. But that's all different now. If you take a landscape picture and upload it to one of your apps, it's absolutely tiny, because people aren't turning their phones anymore. They just want to be able to scroll on down or across on their mobile phones without having to move them around. All right, so it's built for mobile. Think mobile first and always keep your phone upright in the the vertical position. A good dynamic would be for the image to have motion. So just by changing this image here into an image that's moving like that is going to capture somebody's attention. All right, so good creative is also well thought out, and it's an engaging solution. So it's also well crafted. I mean, this is a graphic slideshow that highlights spring fashion against dynamic backgrounds. Let me just see if that one will want to play again. There we go. So it's the same image that's been cut out and put against different backgrounds. Again, it's going to capture somebody's attention. So good creative is thumb stopping. All right, it's going to stop people when they're scrolling. So lightweight motion or repetitive animation will make it stand out. It'll help to make that content feel more special and more relevant. So the content you're creating must be built for your audience. Okay, something that you know is going to attract their attention. Basically, when you're posting something on social media, you've got 1.3 seconds to capture somebody's attention before they move on to the next post. So therefore, if you've got an image that's got some kind of motion in it like this, or the images we've just looked at, it's more likely to draw the eye, more likely to capture people's attention. Through research, it's been found that consumption in mobile feed is frequent, fast, and sound-free. All right, so again, think about how you use your own mobile phone, and I'm sure that will make sense to you. So when you're scrolling down through your Facebook feed or your LinkedIn feed even, you're doing it so with your sound off. Okay, whereas when people are looking at things like Facebook stories and Instagram stories, they're doing so with sound on. All right, so bear that in mind when you're creating your videos. Sound off for news feeds and sound on for stories. And again, with this in mind, you need to think about if you're creating longer videos where you're talking. So if you were giving people tips, or if you were giving them advice or something to help them, something that they could learn from, make sure you're using subtitles. All right, because they're looking at it with sound off. So if you want them to stay and watch your video, you put subtitles on. And of course, that's built into Facebook now, where we can go in, upload our video, and create our subtitles. So what I'm going to talk about now is a brief way you can simply plan to help you make that creative. All right, so this is a guide to help you determine what and why you're putting the post on that you're creating. So start with what you know best when you're creating this plan around this graphic in this post. Start with what you know best. Think about your business. So one way to start thinking about it is to create a brief. So this company here is a company called Lucky Shrub. Okay, and Lucky Shrub is a local flower shop in New York. So first of all, they're going to think about how they would describe their business to a friend. All right, so they're a hip, fun, urban shop, plant shop made for plant lovers. All right, so that would be almost their tagline, wouldn't it? How would you best describe your business to a friend? Then they're going to think about what makes their business stand out. So in this case, it's handcrafted pots, it's special shrubs and parts, the fact that parts of their proceeds are going to the preservation of rainforests. Right, that sort of makes up their USP. So then they're going to start thinking about their customers. Right, so this is where you can use that buying persona that Pink Boutique did, or you can even go and check your insights and your analytics on your social media accounts to see who it is you're already attracting and base it on that. So here they've got their customer who's a 20 to 65-year-old woman who lives in New York. She loves interior design. She loves plants, home decor, fashion, and going out for brunch. All right, so she's building up the persona around this woman. You might think, right, another completely different audience is a 30 to 45-year-old male minimalist. He lives in New York. He likes home decor and plants. So this is where, again, you could start thinking about splitting your marketing. It might be that you look at your insights of your people on Facebook and Instagram and find that it's mainly women that follow you on Instagram, whereas it could be mainly the men on Facebook, rather, it would be normal, and men on Instagram. Or it might be that it's women on Facebook and Instagram, but it's men on Twitter. These are all the sorts of things that you want to think about. So next, they need to think about who their customers are. Sorry, about their product and their service, rather. So here they're creating one-of-a-kind plants right in your neighborhood. That's our shop local, isn't it? Which more and more people are going to, especially at the moment. So if you think about all these things and all these questions, it does take time to plan it. But once you do, you can really, really start thinking about your content. You can then measure your content. You can look at your insights and go to posts, for example, or look at engagement on Instagram, or even reach and engagement on LinkedIn. And you can look and see what's working best with your people. So your target audience, which posts are making them interact the most. So once you've figured out your message and who your customers are, you can start thinking about what you want your post to look like, or if you were doing an advert, what you wanted your ad to look like. So you think about whether you want to use video, or do you want to use photo or text? Do you want to combine the elements? You know, and on Facebook, there's an ad or a post format for everybody. You will find something. So by now you should all be using your creator studios when you're posting on Facebook and Instagram, and see all the different formats. You can just do your organic posts now, or also if you are going into creative ad, you've got all different formats through there as well. So there's loads of different types of ad format, but these are some of the ones I want to highlight to you today. You've got slideshow, where you can stitch together multiple photos, which is what's going on in that first image, to create a video. You can do that within Facebook ads. You can also do that on your normal post on your Creator Studio. We've then got video, and I've mentioned this because, well, as I've mentioned before, videos have fantastic success on social media. Now, if you're creating something and you just want to get a quick message out there, or it's something that you potentially might want to use for an advert, you're going to make sure that this video is no more than 15 seconds. All right, that's all we're looking for, is a 15-second video. We've then got carousel, and with carousel ads, customers can scroll through photos or questions, or photos or videos at their own speed. All right, so it's all uploaded as a carousel, and you can move from one image to the other by swiping across. Now, a lot of people will use this, for example, if they sell multiple different types of products on their websites. So, for example, you might be a jeweler who sells necklaces and rings and bracelets and so on, and you might have a different carousel image to take people to the different areas of your website where they can buy that product. And of course, now we have stories. So there we go. So Instagram stories, Facebook stories, It'd be interesting to know how many of you are already incorporating these into your marketing. How many of you are actually using stories at the moment? More and more businesses are off now to Instagram and Facebook stories to connect with the customers in a space where they already are. Everyone's moving on to stories now, and creating Instagram stories is really, really easy. Again, there's loads of tools that are built in to help you. Just as a side here, and then I think I might ask if there are any questions, because I know I waffled on for a bit. But in December, the stats showed that more people swiped on Instagram than scrolled. And that means that more people watched videos than looked down through their news feed. All right, so it's just something to consider there. Rory, have we got any questions so far?
We actually don't have any so far. I think everyone's been caught on every word you've been saying. And during a live event, you wouldn't be able to hear a pin drop, I think. So,
brilliant.
Crack on.
That's great, thank you. So please, if you do have any questions, if you're not sure of something I've said, do ask, do put it in the Q&A box. Because I think if it's something that you're stuck on, when I move forward, it's just going to confuse you. Whereas if you ask questions as we go along, it'll make more sense to you. So I'm going to move into more ad formats here. Hang on a sec, where are we? There we go. So while we're talking about formats, we should also look at framing. So framing matters. All right, the way it looks and the way it comes through onto people's feed matters. And again, something that you might want to think about is using your pixel codes, because you're going to get more performance, you're going to get better results. Facebook are going to be able to gather more information about your business if you put that pixel code onto your website. But the brands that are moving fastest are experimenting across these different types of frame. So we've got this one here. This is the 16:9 frame. This is the one that I would avoid the most. All right, because it's so small now when it comes up in the news feed compared to having the square format. Okay, you can see that's taken up a lot more screen, and better still, the vertical format, which takes up somebody's whole screen. So you can see with that first one, with the 16:9 frame, when that comes through onto somebody's mobile phone, they're already seeing the post below. All right, so their attention is already being taken away from your creative. Whereas with the square and the vertical post, there we go, you'll see that people, you're attracting people, you're getting more attention from people. All right, so when you're creating your creatives for these platforms, either think square or think vertical. Both of those will work really well, especially if you've now got the new design of Facebook, which I think has pretty much been rolled out to everybody. So we're going to talk now about actually making a good creative and what goes into it. So when speaking to small businesses for the first time about creating their own great creatives, there are 4 main objectives we always hear. Equipment. Don't have the equipment to be able to do this. Can't afford to hire somebody to do this. They know their business and not marketing. And that is one of the hardest things, isn't it, about being a small business? The fact that we create these small businesses and suddenly, yes, we know what we're doing for our own businesses, but then we need to be marketing consultants, we need to be accountants, we need to be PR consultants, we need to know everything. Okay, they just and people just have a mental block, I think, sometimes when it comes to social media. But I just think, again, these platforms make it so much easier for you now. And if you do that forethought of thinking about your business and what you want to achieve and what your goals are and who it is you're speaking to, it makes all of that so much easier. And obviously we have confidence as well. People aren't confident about their ability to do good advertising and so on Facebook and Instagram. And my advice there is learn, go on a course, find out how to do it properly, and then you will be confident moving forward. And one of the things that I teach all the time is don't ever press that boost button. Boosting is the most ineffective form of advertising, and people think it's great, it's really easy, you reach a massive audience, but that's not your target audience. If you take the time to learn how to use Facebook Ads Manager, your confidence will build, you'll absolutely get how Facebook advertising works, and away you go. So a lot of people will also tell us that they're not creative, but we've got some fantastic apps now, okay, that will help you become a creator by just having some particular apps on your phone. But all you need to create great creative is a mobile phone and some free or inexpensive apps. So there's a myth that the only way to do great creative is by having a huge budget and a massive production company, but times have absolutely changed. And all you really need is your phone, a few great apps, and a tripod or a bendy arm. Okay, something where you can put your mobile phone on it and it's going to hold it steady for you. And they're only sort of 15 to 20 quid. I think the tripods are fantastic. The bendy arms might be a bit easier for you if you haven't got a surface that you can stand the tripod on, because the little bendy arm things clip onto the side of a table or onto a shelf. So you can pretty much put them anywhere. But that's all you actually need to create some fantastic visuals. And like these, all of these different images here were made with a mobile phone and one of those creative apps. So this, for example, it looks like a really fancy kitchen, doesn't it? Beautiful marble slate tiles and walls and so on. But actually, you can see it's not. It's just a piece of foam covered with a marble contact paper on the floor of a guy called Al Mafuccio, who's the founder of Inspiralized. Okay, I'm just going to show you that again. There we go. You imagine it, just putting a photograph of an Inspiralizer will not show people who've never seen one before what it does. But by creating this tiny video, people can absolutely see what the end product is going to be. So the product that's sold here isn't simple. So she wanted to show people how the tool actually works. So how she created this was with an app called Boomerang. So she created a load of boomerang videos of her product. She tried out different angles and ways of interacting with her product, and she brought it to life. So she tested 4 boomerang videos to see which one was more effective, which one, and also she put them out to see which ones performed the best on her social media. And then she tested the winning video against a similar photo, and I think we already know the answer to which one did better, and that was obviously the video. Again, because it clearly shows people how this product works. There we go. So she actually sold out of every product she had on her website and on Amazon and other shopping channels that she used. And she had to stop running her ads. She sold thousands and thousands of this product and it only cost her $250. All right, but the actual video she used gave her 3.4% higher click-through rate to her website, which was 11 times cheaper than the lowest cost per click she had. And she had 48 more clicks in total on the video than she had on the static image. So another option for showing people again your product is to compress a long story. So this, for example, is from Chameleon Cold Brew Coffee, and they wanted to get across to their customers that their coffee can keep you going through a long, busy day. So instead of showing an hour-long back patio transformation, they used an app called Hyperlapse to compress a long story into a short, entertaining one. Then they added text for their Instagram stories to tell people in around 5 seconds. So Hyperlapse, I think, is only available on iPhone, but I'm sure there will be a version for Android. But built into all your mobile phones anyway, if you've got a smartphone, when you go into your camera, you'll see there's an option there for time lapse. All right, so you could use the time lapse function if you can't get Hyperlapse. It'll do a similar thing. It's just with Hyperlapse, you get to control what kind of speed you want to play the video back at, whereas with time lapse, it's just sped up to one very, very fast speed. You could also use a stop motion video. So this is Baked, who are a bakery in New York, and they were taking photos of their baked goods, like most bakers would, but they wanted to bring some fun and some motion to their apps. So they used stop motion. And you can see again, that's just so much more effective, isn't it? Than just having that static image. So they used an app called Video Shop, which is an Adobe app, I believe it's a freebie. They used that to create this stop motion and edit this video. So stop motion can be a simple and incredibly thumb-stopping way to create a video. And that's what we're looking for. Something to make people stop when they're scrolling down through their newsfeed. So think about stop motion as a video that's been created out of photos that are then stitched together. So I'll show you here how it's done. So first you'd set your stage. So here they've got a little mini mannequin. Then you would open an app like Video Shop, and then you'd move the product. Okay, there we go, that's Video Shop. So you're going to move the product and start taking photos. Okay, and then do that over and over again until you're done. And then at the end of it, your video, you have video of photos that have been stacked together. So this is a great way to bring a static object to life. And you can see it is relatively easy to do. It's like anything else. The more you play with these apps, the easier it's going to be for you to use them. Have a bit of fun with them. So here's another stop motion. So when you're on Instagram stories, people can tap left or right on them to go forward and back on that story. So you can either tap to go back an image or tap to go forward for an image, or if you swipe, you're going on to the next post. But you can see here, this company here, I don't know if you can see these very, very tiny lines up here. They've added loads and loads of images to their video with the intention of people clicking on that tap button to move from one image to the other. So here you take a series of your photos. So you'd move the product around and then you'd upload them all one at a time to Instagram stories. And you get an effect that looks like this. There we go. So as people are tapping through the story, that's moving around and around. Okay, it's pretty effective. That's a nice, easy animated video. So here's another good one. This is Pescari, who are a small, yet they're a really high quality fish restaurant in Italy. And they pride themselves on their unique paninos, which are made by their Michelin-starred chef, who won Master Chef in Italy. And they sell them at a really reasonable price. So they wanted to do something that was more visual on the platform than simply highlight the panino in a static imagery. There's a fish, by the way. So they wanted to do this to launch their new store in Milano. So of course, they used their mobile phone, experimented with different techniques and apps. And this was the end result, fish art. So they demonstrated that he treats his food like art. All right, so this is the chef. He's not just cooking fish, he's looking upon fish as art. So he took these images on the mobile phone to create these kaleidoscope style images. And all you would do here is you would take your photo, load it up into the layout app, and then once you're on layout, you've got lots of different options of how you want the app to appear. All right, so you can see there the kaleidoscope working. So they took the technique and they quickly made lots of different variations of their food. And if you look at these, you can see how in the past someone might have charged you a lot of money for creating something like this, but now you just need your mobile phone and the free layout app. So the result of this was that 90% of the store revenue was driven through their Facebook ad, this eye-catching kaleidoscope of fish. But the real result was this 4-hour queue down the street, people queuing up to go to the shop or the restaurant. So that's some ideas there for you on how to create new photos and videos. And now I'm going to show you a few ways you can make the most of the assets that you've already got. So for example, we'll look at how to liven up some of your photos. So many of you will have used photographers in the past. You know, you might have had your products photographed on a white background, for example. So if you have images like these, you can easily transform them into something like this. There we go. That one that we looked at a little bit earlier on. It does look like you need design software to do this, but you don't. All you need is the Photoshop Mix app and a Facebook slide. Okay, that will create this the Facebook slideshow for you. So this company, Pop-Up Plus, wanted to showcase their spring collection in a new and dynamic way. So I'll just show you the result again. So this is how easy it is to do something like this. So first of all, select your image. And then you'll create a photo like this. And if you upload a few photos to the Facebook as a slideshow, you can then create a fun little video like this. You can refresh some of your old content, putting new backgrounds on it. You can make seasonal backgrounds for your products and so on in just a few simple ways. By the way, if you've got background images, background on your images, and you want to remove them, there are apps to help you do that as well. But one of the best softwares I think that you could be using as a non-creative who wants ideas is Canva. And we will have a bit of a look at Canva in the second half. But on Canva, you have a free account, but you can also subscribe to the professional version, which I think costs around £9–10 a month, something like that. And with the professional version, You can upload any image on a background and remove the background. So you can do that there as well. So you can try it in Photoshop Mix, but also if you prefer to use a desktop version, have a look at Canva. So this is a list here of apps that Facebook have found are the most useful for businesses. Excuse me. They are either all free or very inexpensive. So we've got Adobe Photoshop Mix. So that lets you cut out and combine elements from different images. It lets you blend layers together and apply different looks on your iPhone, iPad or Android device. It's available on all of them. It's all compatible with Photoshop as well. So if you are a Photoshop user, you might find this really useful to go work alongside that. Actually, if you go to the Adobe website and type in Adobe Photoshop Mix, they've got a really good video to show you how to use it. The next one down is the Adobe Spark Post. So now there is a free version of Adobe Spark Post, but it has limited functionality. And the professional version starts at around £10 a month, but you can sign up for a 2-month free trial to see whether or not it's something that you're going to use. So with Adobe Spark, you can pick from a huge selection of royalty-free photos and icons. And create lots of easy ways to use animation and GIFs, and they've got thousands of templates for you to play with. All right, that's Adobe Spark Post. Then we have Unfold. So Unfold is an app that gives you access to over 200 award-winning templates that you can use to create beautiful stories posts for Facebook and Instagram stories. So if you're looking for some great design ideas in a free app, you've got to try this one. They are really slick. They've got paid for ones in there as well, but there are plenty to choose from here to give you a bit of inspiration. Even if you're not going to use the app, download it to have a look at those templates, and then maybe you could recreate it in your free Canva account. But it's there to give you a bit of inspiration. We also have Ripple, R-I-P-L, and I absolutely love this app. It's a great app where you can upload your images to create text and short animated videos. There's a professional version which costs around, again, I think it's the £12 mark a month, when that is white labeled. So it doesn't have a ripple at the end of your video, your creative, it's completely white labeled. And it also gives you access to over 500,000 stock images and videos. All right, so the paid version can also be customized with your brand's fonts, colors, logos, and you can also use it to schedule to your social media accounts if you want to do so. You want to watch that though, and make sure that using a third-party app doesn't affect your reach, especially if you're scheduling it to go onto Facebook. We then have Plotaverse. All right, so this is, for example, you know, have you ever seen like GIFs or short videos with snowflakes falling down, or images that have, you know, sparkles and so on? So basically this is about bringing a static image to life by creating a moving element within it. So what I mean by that is, say you've got a photograph of your dog with the sea behind you. You could upload that image into Plotaverse. You can mark out your dog saying, I don't want this bit to move. And then you can put arrows on for the direction you'd like the waves to move or the clouds to move. So you can move an element of a static image with Plotaverse. So I think the pro version for that one is something like $100. But try it out for free first. See what you think. If it's something you're likely to use, and invest in it. It is great fun. We've then got the Facebook Ads Manager app, which is a relatively new app and allows you to create your paid for ads on your mobile phone. I personally still prefer to place my ads via the Ads Manager on my desktop because I like to see the advert on a large screen before I send it away. But this app is a really good alternative. And again, it is far, far more effective than just clicking on that boost button. Okay, you all know that I'm totally anti-boost, as it is the most ineffective advertising on Facebook. Moving on to the right-hand column, we've got Video Shop. And this is a brilliant app. So you can trim out unwanted moments from your video. You can add in sound effects. You can add subtitles. You can adjust your video speed to slow or fast. Or you can merge multiple clips, video clips together, or even photos. So you can combine photos and videos. This is the app that you would use if you want to experiment with stop motion. It's also good for resizing and editing videos. So if you've got a video that's the wrong shape, it's been done landscape, you can put it into a vertical or portrait style using Video Shop. Mojo is another fun app. It's an app that's used for creating animated stories on Instagram, which Mojo describe as stunning stories. Okay, so there's some great free templates available and an option again to upgrade to Pro if you fall in love with the app and want to use it. And then we've got another one of my all-time favorite apps, which is Quick. So you can add a series of static images to Quick. And then with a click of a button, you've got several styles of video that you can choose from, all with copyright-free music, the ability to add text, download it to your phone so you can then upload and put them on whatever platform you like. I'll do some demonstrations of all these different apps, or some of them anyway, in the second half. But it is my favorite. It's just, you open your phone, you click on half a dozen videos, and there you've got, or half a dozen images rather, that you've got saved on your phone, and just like that you've got a video. It's fantastic. Boomerang's the first app we mentioned. You can create captivating mini videos that loop back and forth, and then you can share them wherever you want them. Fantastic for Instagram, Facebook stories, just posts on all your platforms really. And then we have the final app, Instagram Stories. So this is a great way to show your clients the behind the scenes, for example, of your business, or update people throughout the day. So when you upload something to a story, it's just going to stay there for 24 hours and then it's dropping off. So your followers are going to be seeing fresh new content that you're updating on a daily basis. All right, and as I said, there's a mass migration of people to stories because it's something quick that they can just flick it on and they're scrolling from one to the next, and so on. People love it. So I would download these apps if I were you, and then have a bit of a play with them and have fun with it. Every app you use will help you bring your business to life in a different way and without having to spend much money on your creatives. It will look like a designer has created them, whereas you've just sat there and done it on your mobile phone. That is the end of the slide presentation. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second, take any questions, and then we'll have that 5-minute break. There we go.
Okay, so...
And breathe.
Yes, no problem. Okay, so we have got a couple of questions that have come through. I think a lot of these have been answered actually as you were going through, such as a question on what creative apps do you recommend. We just literally just gone through that, so that's good. Peter's asked a question, please explain more about how you actually find creative content. So maybe something that you do personally to find creative content, you share.
Again, that's all about the creative content side of it and what you're going to post about on which platform. This is where you need to do your homework. You need to sit down, and you remember that form that we filled in for Lucky Shrubs, and we talked about the audience, who they were, what their interests are, and so on. You've then got to work out what they are interested in, because when it comes for creating content for your business pages, it shouldn't always be about you. It shouldn't always be about your products. You've got to think about your audience and what they want to see. And from that, you start being creative. So maybe we'll look at that a bit more in the second half, and I can show you what I mean by that.
Wonderful. And we've got a question from Kieran asking, can you use these techniques for a service rather than a product?
Yeah, totally. I'm a service. And I use Quick is the one that I use all the time. Again, Ripple is fantastic for using for services. Yeah, totally. You can. Absolutely. Again, it's thinking about how you're going to attract that target audience. What are they likely to be drawn by?
Wonderful. I think that's all the questions we have for now. So we'll take a quick 5 minutes break and we'll be back at around 10 past 11.
Lovely. See you in a bit.
See you then.
Okay, hopefully you've all had some caffeine or got a cup of coffee ready. Talking of which, Paul, can I have a coffee, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so this second half of the session, I'm going to just show some of the creative tools that you can use, the things that we've already talked about. If there's any in particular you want me to show you, pop it in the Q&A or the chat box and let Rory know, and I'll see if we can cover it. So this section is reliant on my mobile behaving itself and screencasting. So I'm just going to change a couple of my settings on here. And display settings is going to replicate. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I can zoom back up. Okay. So I think I'll start with, I'm going to start with Instagram and some of the apps. Please don't judge me on my desktop. Some of the apps that are, or the creative stickers and so on that are built into Instagram. And straight away my phone doesn't want to play with me. Just open my mirroring app. Okay, that's not going to play for the moment, so I will do something else instead, and we'll go on. First of all, we'll look at subtitles, so adding subtitles or using the creatives that are built into the Creator Studio. So now, when you're going onto your business page, there we go. Instead of clicking here to create a post where you're quite limited as to what you can do, you are better off coming over here to Publishing Tools, clicking on, when it loads up, Creator Studio, and then I'll show you what I was talking about earlier on about creating mini slideshows and carousels and things for your posts. So it used to be that once upon a time, if we wanted to use the slideshows or anything, it was only available within the Facebook advertising section. But now, if we click on here to create a post, there we go. You can see all the different things that are available to you. So we've got video. If you wanted to share a video and it was going to go onto a newsfeed, so say you did an explainer video and you were talking about your service, or if you're a cleaning company and you were doing a cleaning demonstration to show somebody, for example, how to clean an oven or a microwave or something like that, you would click on video. You would choose your bit of video that you want to upload. There's the video, that'll do. And as it uploads it here, we'll just let that run through. You can see on the right-hand side, you've got the option to add subtitles and captions. So I'll just give this a second to upload. A second, she thought I should really learn some jokes. We'll do a bit of singing in this bit, shouldn't I? But this is so important that if you're putting on videos where somebody's talking, that you've actually got captions on it. Because the reason we're doing this is because people are watching with sound off. So if there are words, they are more likely to sit and read your video and read what you're talking about, or even encourage them to click for sound on. I've got Paul playing in the background here to see if it wants to connect. Do you want to switch my phone off and on, Paul? The app's open. Okay.
Hover your mouse over the internet for a second. All right.
I think he just wants to see which
To the right,
thing I'm connected to. Yeah, okay. Right, so the video is uploaded 100% now. So if I then click on subtitles and caption, I can click on this button here to auto-generate the captions. And just like that, the software is creating subtitles for me. Now, it's not perfect, okay, but it is pretty good. And it's definitely on a go slow this morning. But that's all you do. And then what you would do is you would click on the button to edit. You would listen back to your video and read the subtitles that it's created for you and edit them as appropriate. Oh, it's speeding up a bit now. It would be better if I could show you how it's done. You've also got the ability when you've uploaded to click on thumbnail and choose from the selection they've given you which image you want to use as a thumbnail. Okay. Or you can upload a different image if you wanted to. So if you wanted to start it with an image that you've created, you can do that. Okay, back to subtitles. We're on 90% good. But don't worry, I'm not going to go all the way through the video. I just want to show you how it's done. So it's now going to say to me, do I want to view and edit in 1% time? You have to love technology, don't you? There we go. So we click on review and edit, and just like that, here's our video and here's our text. So you would listen to it. Hi, I'm Helen Ross, owner of Bright and Beautiful. So you can see we need to change that. Hi, and it's Helen Ross. Hi, I'm Helen Ross, owner of Bright and Beautiful. And then you type in owner of Bright and Beautiful. Hi, I'm Helen Ross, owner of Bright and Beautiful. You would go through your video like that, changing the text where you need to. Most of it will be absolutely fine, but there will definitely be bits that you do have to edit. When you get to the end of it, you click on save, and then you go back to your post to carry on to put in what you want to say in your actual update. All right, so that's a brilliant facility within Creator Studio. If you want to share a photo in the normal way, you could just share a photo there. But over here on the right-hand side, we've got multimedia. If you click on that, this is where you can create that photo carousel, or you can create a slideshow that we mentioned. So we would say here, right, I want to add some photos. And I'll just click on a few images, add 4 photos, and just like that, we've got a slideshow. All right, so we've changed those static images into a little slideshow. We can come in here and we can add music to it. All that's copyright-free music there. There we go. And we can also change the aspect to making it square or having it rectangular, which we wouldn't be doing, or vertical. So you're going to go with square or vertical, and then you can decide how long you want to spend on each image, and you can either have it transitioning like this or fading from one image to the other. And that's it. You then click on the button, create slideshow. All right, so that's a really nice little tool that's built in. I think it's great that you can now use that for your free posts as well. And likewise, creating a carousel, and you would put in the destination URL that you want to send. People to. You take your URL, pop it in there, and then you can start adding your images to it. Oops, put that in the wrong box, didn't I? In there. It's still playing up. Okay, so that's not playing nicely for me this morning. All right. But normally you would be uploading your image, and for each image you would have a destination URL, but typically this isn't playing nicely. What else we can do? If you've got a Facebook shop and you've set your shop up correctly, you'll be able to tag your products. So as you upload a video or you upload your photo, you can then tag it to where they can buy it in your Facebook shop. There's all sorts of things you can do on here. Poll is another one that's really good. Let me just come out of that for a second. People love taking parts in polls. And when you're creating a poll, you're giving them an option of A or B. And you can make these fun by putting GIFs in them. So if you were asking someone, do you like dogs, do you like cats? Or if you had 2 of your products that you were uploading here. If it was your product, you might create boomerangs for them and upload them. Or you could go in here and you could look for a GIF to do with dogs. Find one that you think will attract people, and one to do with cats. There we go. That's going to stop somebody and attract somebody's attention. Okay, so that's all the sort of thing that's now built into your Creator Studio. Have any of you got any questions on that?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good to carry on.
Okay, lovely. We're just trying to connect this phone. There we go, 912 344 313. Okay, lovely. So that's what you've got built in there into, oh, lovely, it's going to play with us. I'm just going to share my screen with you again. Lovely, thank you, Paul. And hopefully you can all see my mobile phone. So what I wanted to do was take you into Instagram, for example. So if you were creating stories on Instagram, what you would do is, rather than clicking this plus button at the bottom, which is where you would go to add an image that would go onto your profile, to create a story, you're going to click on this little camera icon in the top left-hand corner. And the app's slightly changed since the introduction of Instagram Reels. Oh, look, you've got me twice over now, aren't you lucky? So everything that's got is down here on the left-hand side. So if you were doing an Instagram Live, you would move it across the bottom there to where it says Live. If you wanted a story, you would create your story there. If you were creating an Instagram Reel, aka TikTok style video, you would do that here. Okay, but just for the stories, if we wanted to use an existing image, we would click on our image. And then we would stay at the top here. You've got this little sticker here. If you go on there, to make this into something that's moving, you might do a search for a bee, come down all the bee stickers, find one that's moving, and pop that on there. You can change the size of it by squeezing on your screen. There we go. And suddenly that's changed that static image into something that's going to be a little bit more eye-catching and fun. And that's the whole point, really, of stories. I remember on my last trip to Facebook, on the back of the toilet doors, they had a sign up saying, "Let's bring the fun back to business." And that's what Instagram stories is all about. It's, you know, it's fun, creative ways of making people feel like they're connecting with you more. You know, at the end of the day, we all know that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So the more personal information you can get out there, the better it's going to be. And this is a really good, quick, easy way of doing that. You can have a bit of fun with your stories. Let's have a look. You can put daft ears on yourself. That always goes down well when I post something like that. And built in, you ready for this, Caitlin? Built into the app, you can see down here on the left-hand side, under the initials, we've got this sideways 8. That's the boomerang icon. So if I click on that to create a boomerang video, I can then switch it. We'll give her puppy ears as well. Give us a wave, Caitlin. You go, and that's your boomerang. Okay, and as you can see, I'm working from my kitchen. And then you would add that to your stories. You wouldn't need to put any more stickers on that if you didn't want to. You don't need to because it's moving already, and you can click on the button to add to stories. So I could be doing that with, you know, something along the lines of meet the team or something like that. But it's more eye-catching. And what happens with stories is you can see they're sitting across the top here of our Instagram account, and people tend to click on one, as my daughter and granddaughter, and they'll see that, and it moves on to the second image, and it moves on to the third image, and then it straight away goes into the next story. But the fact is, it's sitting right at the very top of everyone's Instagram accounts. All right, so that's the first thing they're going to now. So here we go. This lady's added 3 stories, and each of those images will stay there for 24 hours, and then it will drop off. So until you're uploading the next one. So my advice to you, if you're using Instagram stories, is to maybe update 3 times a day. Now that sounds horrific, but you can prepare images in advance, can't you? So if you wanted to incorporate a mixture of sales and behind the scenes, you could use something like that Unfold app I mentioned earlier on. And you could take Unfold, you could create some sales posts in advance, have them saved on your mobile phone, and then sporadically add them into your stories as well. So sort of 1 in 3 images would be a sales type post. So you can see on my mobile phone, I've got this box at the top there called social, and all my different social media apps are in here. And the right-hand side, I've got one called Instagram, and this one is just for Instagram. Now, I might use these apps for other things as well sometimes, but these are all the main ones that I would use for Instagram. So I'll show you the layout app. So this is the one that the company used to make fish look good. So if I wanted to do something like that and create a kaleidoscope, not done this for a long time, so let's see. So say I use that image there, I could go along the top to all the different layouts and choose something like that. I could put borders on it. I could just take one image there, and I could say, right, I want this layout, but I want to mirror it and move things around like that. So you can have a bit of a play with it. Okay, so that's the layout app. This is Ripple, the one I mentioned to you earlier on. This is an app that I really do like. You can come on to Ripple, you click on this big plus button at the bottom to create your Ripple. and you've got 2 areas for text. So here we have, what we're going to put on this one. I'm going to type in "Be Beautiful" with Helen. And secondary text, I'm going to put join body shop at home. Oops, that doesn't say body. And then what I can do here is click on the big blue button that says add photos or videos. I can go back to one of my B images. There we go. Click on done. Click on that little arrow that's flashing at the top right hand side. And just like that, it'll create different versions of the video for you that you can just scroll along at the top. You can come down the bottom and change the text. You can change the font. You can change the color and the color of the overlay. If you know your colors, by the way, you could type your color code in here, and that will give your exact brand color that you're using, so you've got it completely on brand. Let's have a look. Let's have a play on that one again. So now we've changed it to that. But we've still got all these choices at the top of different styles. And again, we can say, no, I want my blue on there. And then when you've got what you want, you can download it on the free version as an HD video. If you wanted full HD, you would need to upgrade to Pro. But if I said, right, I want that one, and then all I want to do is save it to photos. So click on share, and that downloads it then and puts it into your photos for you. What you could do then is you could say, right, I want to edit that in Video Shop. And you could click on the plus button, import your video clip. Has it arrived there yet? No, not yet. Let's just give it a second. I come off it too soon. Doesn't seem to like doing this while I'm plugged into the computer, so never mind. You would download it, and then what you could do is if you wanted to edit it, for example, to take a logo off the back of it, you would go into Video Shop, you would import your clip. Let's see if I've got something here I can do that with. There's a clip I prepared earlier, and you can click on trim, take it to the end, and if you wanted to cut a bit out of it, you could just do that there, click on the tick button, and that's your video trimmed. So if there's something on the end of the video that you don't want there, you can use that. So what else can I show you? So Hyperlapse that we mentioned, there's the app for Hyperlapse. And then what you would do is you would record. On Hyperlapse, I believe you can record for 45 minutes. Okay, so if you were, for example, a kitchen fitter, you would set your phone up on your tripod. You would click on Hyperlapse and set your alarm for 45 minutes later. So what you'd want is your mobile phone in one place, and it would be recording all the movements you're doing in everything that's capturing in front of the screen here. And then at the end of 45 minutes, you'd save that Hyperlapse and you create another one. So you do your next 45 minutes of work, and then you could stitch the two together in Video Shop. All right, you'd go to your Video Shop app and you'd upload the 2 or 3 45-minute time lapses. But the choice you have is when you finished recording on time lapse, you see at the bottom here where it says times 6, you get to choose what speed, if you just want to, you want to play things back at. So this is twice the speed, and it goes all the way up to 12 times the speed. All right, depending on how long you want that end video to be. But also you want to make sure when it's playing back that people can actually see what's going on in the background. like the coffee ad that we saw. You could clearly see people moving around and you could see the way the patio was changing and everything. That is a really effective ad for doing a demonstration of like a before and after type thing. What else shall I show you? This is one to look out for, but it keeps appearing on the App Store and then disappearing again and again. I love it. So this is Legend, and this is where you would type your text in. You would then click on the image icon here in the middle, and you would take a photo, or you would open your photos and you pick a picture, move it to where you want it, and then when you click on next, you've got 3 different pages of videos that you can choose from. And that's really quite effective. But like I say, I mean, I've got this app on my phone, but every now and then it sort of gets reloaded onto the App Store and then it disappears again. And we've got some here that are quite flashy. And again, you would just choose from this which one you wanted. Where's my favorite? My favorite is this one. I like the fading ones. So it says your words, then your words disappear and your image comes up. And again, you've got the choices here. You can change the color of the filter and the border around your text. And then click on the More button and down to Save Video. And again, that's just going to pop that into your camera. There you go, my phone froze then. Photograph is the one that I spoke to you about, where, oh, I'd need to sign into this one, where you would go in and you could make things stay still and have the water and everything moving in the background, or you could put your snowflake filters or your glitter around it and so on. It will let you play with it for a while on a free account, and then it'll start restricting you and stopping you from doing things until you've upgraded. But do have a look at it. If you're wanting to put filters on things like snowflakes and so on, it's excellent for that. What else can I show you? I'm going to show you Canva, but I'm going to show you that from the computer. Pixabay is brilliant. So all of you should know, hopefully, that you can't just see an image that you like on Pinterest or on Google or on any social media and use it. All right, you must not do that. Images have copyright on them. And as a business, if you use somebody's image that you have no right to use, and just because something's been put on social media does not give you a right to use it. At the moment, for example, if you were to use one of Getty's images, then you'd be looking at a fine around £800 for the use of that image on a blog or in a social media post. So it really isn't worth doing. Now this is Pixabay. Now you can get to this on your computer by going to pixabay.com, or you can download, and it is full of free images. So if, for example, I wanted a picture of a dog, I would do a search for dog, and there are 31,016 free images of dog that I would be able to use. And when I choose the image, I can click on this button here to download, and it gives you an option of different sizes that you can download it at. So if you were using this image for Instagram, you would just, or even for Facebook, and you were just creating a square, you could choose it, this image here, because you're just wanting to have something that fits into a box that's 1080 by 1080 pixels. Let me just show you that from a computer. So if I went on to Pixabay here on the computer and typed in the word dog, there we go, there's the 31,000 images. The important thing is that, you know, when you click on here, it tells you on the right hand side, free for commercial use, no attribution required. If it says there's attribution, then you have to put a link and you have to name the author. If it says this, and all the free images on, or the majority of the free images on Pixabay are no attribution required. These images at the top of the page that came up on the search for dog, these ones up here are all owned by iStock, so you would have to pay to use them. Okay, but everything below is free. So if you were going off to Google and you were looking for a picture of a dog, you must not use these images. All right, but what you can do is go to Tools, Usage Rights, Label for Reuse, and that will filter for you the images you can actually use. All right, now these are mainly from Wikipedia, Wikimedia, Pexels.com, Flickr.com, Pixabay. I go to Pixabay because I can find most of my images there, and it just makes it a bit quicker for me, and I can have the app on my phone as well. But you can see there's some great ones in here that you can use. There you go, free stock photo. You must go through to the website though and just make sure there's no attribution requirements. There isn't on this. It tells us here that this is the license. He's released this image under a public domain license. It means that you can use it and modify it for your own personal and commercial projects. All right, so you can do what you want with it. Make sure you read the small print, is what I'm saying here. And just so you can see how easy it is. So say this was my photograph. I'm a photographer. There it is, that's on my downloads. If that was my image and I wanted to see if anybody had used it, all I've got to do is drag this image, drop it here, and this does a reverse image search. So this is showing me my image. This is showing me similar images, but look down here. This is showing me every single website, pages and pages of them that have used this image. So if that was my photograph and I was a photographer or I was a media company or something like that, and I hadn't given somebody the right to use it, I could easily see where my image is being used. Likewise, you can do this. If you wanted to check whether or not somebody has pinched one of your images, just drag it and drop it into this bar and it'll show you everywhere that image has been used. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I've seen a couple of chat messages popping up. Okay.
Got a question from Kieran here. Can you use these for LinkedIn? And if so, what would the best app be?
Any of them, because it's the same on LinkedIn. It's eye-catching. Now, you need things that are eye-catching to capture people's attention. If you're wanting to use video on LinkedIn, so if you wanted to do live streaming on LinkedIn, you're going to need to request permission to do that. But it is a really, really simple form that you need to fill in to be able to do that. But anything that's eye-catching, just you wouldn't have the sort of fun post that you'd be putting on Facebook with your pets and things like that. You're not going to go and use that kind of content on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, it's going to be more business and professional. Like I've used Quick loads of, I'll show you Quick next. I've used Quick loads of time on LinkedIn to give people maybe an update of what I've been up to this week. And I might have taken screenshots, for example, of Zoom meetings I've had or websites we've worked on or content we've created, something like that. Put it all together in a quick video and use that on LinkedIn. It might be that you want to create a video of your services. And again, you could create the image videos or images and then stitch them together to make that video out of them. Ripple would be really good to get a message across on LinkedIn. And again, on Ripple, I just showed you it with one image. You can upload several images to make a video on Ripple as well. All right, so it's really a case of downloading those apps I've talked about today and having a play and see which fits best with you, which you're most comfortable with.
Very good. And we also have Steve asking the question, what's the typical cost to use an image?
It's one of those, how long's a piece of string? It very much depends on whose image it is, but also on which stock photo company you're using. So quite a lot of them, what they do is, rather than giving you a price per image, they ask you to buy a block, which gives you, say, 20 points. And then some images cost you 3 points. Some images will be 7 points. So that you're going to have to do some of your own research on that. It can be as little as 50p an image, you know, but it depends on what you want to use it for. And you must be really, really careful with what buying that image gives you permission to do. So some images you'll see that are being sold and they're just for use on a website, which means you can't use it on your social media. Others will be just for social media. Others, you can use it anyway. Some of them, you buy the image and you're allowed to print. So you need to do your research with the different companies. I think iStock or Shutterstock are the two that spring to mind straight away that people tend to use. But you buy a batch of points and then you assign them to which images you want. But Pixabay can be fantastic. The best thing any of you can do is take your own images. If you're using your own images, the software will pick that up and it will know the difference between a piece of stock photo that's been used over and over and over again to something that's been uploaded from your mobile phone. So if you are using stock photo, quite often it's good to go and manipulate that image and change it slightly in something like Canva, for example, so it doesn't look the same as all the others. So if I show you Canva, so this is brilliant, again, for people who aren't necessarily designers or don't feel that they're creative. This is a fantastic piece of free software that will really, really help you. And there's the app version as well. So you can imagine you come onto Canva and you say, I want to create a post for Facebook. And down the left-hand side here, there are tons and tons and tons of different templates that we can use. Now, some of them you have to pay for, so you have to have the paid version. Others are completely free, and there's loads of free images on here. So imagine we wanted a layout that looks something like this. We could then go to uploads, upload our own photographs, our own products, images that represent our services, anything like that. And then we could drag and drop our images into these boxes, and you can see it resizes them for you. Now, if you wanted to reposition them, you would double tap on the image, move it across, and click on the tick. If you wanted to increase the size of the image, you would put it up there, pull the image across to where you wanted it, and click on tick. It's that simple. You could then say, right, in this section here, I want it to be in my branding. So you would come in here, and if you had your branding colors, which most of you, if you've used a designer before, then you will have your brand colors. You would type that in here, or you could click on this chart and say, no, I'm in the blues, I'm in the dark blues. Oh, that was nice, actually, that one. There we go. Let's use that color. You could then come in, change your wording. You could see it's still keeping it in the style. That's obviously too big. So I can either stretch this to make it bigger so it fits, or I could say, you know what, I'm going to change the font size to, there we go, something like that. And again, if we did that, we might spread it out, and then we could put in our web address. And again, we might want to pull, you can let me pull that little bit out. There we go, yeah. So that looks like it's been made by a designer. All I've done is take one of their templates and change the text in it. I could then potentially upload my logo. If I had a transparent one, I could put my logo down here. Or if it was on a block, again, pop it down there. I think it's always nice to have the transparent version of your logo, so you can put it on any image you want. If you wanted to, so if you didn't want a static image, if you wanted this to move, there's a couple of ways you could do it. First of all, you could click on animate and it would show you different ways you could animate this. That's the images. There we go, that's coming up. And these are the words tumbling in, that's quite effective. And that creates a 5-second video for you. Or if you didn't want to animate it like that, you could go into elements. And in elements, you've got these little moving stickers, all kinds of different stickers. And if we wanted to say, put some confetti on it, we would pull that out like that. And just like that, we've got some confetti. All right, so there's all kinds of different free features that are built in here. And then when we've got what we want, all you do is click on this download button, and it says here it's going to download it as an MP4 video. And you click download, and here it'll sit down in my downloads bar, ready for use. All right, so Canva is really, really effective. On Canva, I mean, they've got all these preset images for you here. It might be that you want to create a video. So you would go into the video section, and again, there's all these different templates here. So if we wanted this video here, oops, I don't know why that's gone off, but there we go. You could say, right, I want to use this video, but actually what you might want to do is upload. I mean, if you were a company that was selling to children and you were selling these kind of blocks, you could use this video, and you would just change your wording, and you could put your logo on it in exactly the same way that we did a second ago. Or it might be that you want to upload your own piece of video. So we're going to upload video from my device back to downloads, and I'll just pick that. Let's have a look. And that's just an image. You just quickly find, there we go, that one there. So I might want to use that video. So I've uploaded my videos, and then I could drag it, drop it in here. Resize it, send backward. And as I send it backward, you can see the other layers are coming back on it like that. So again, I could go in, I could put my logo there. I could put what I wanted in here. I could make these sections smaller or even move them into a different area. You can do absolutely anything with it. Okay, you can put your logo on, and you could say, imagine that was the logo here. If we wanted to fade that background bit here, there's a button up here for transparency, and we could reduce the transparency so we're still getting the image behind it. And obviously you could type your subtitles on here if you wanted to as well. So that's what that would look like now. So it's got all kinds of different editing functions built in here. You can crop your video, you can flip it. If you wanted it the other way around, you can trim it. So you can choose which section up here you want to display. All right, and this is all available on the free version of Canva. So it is definitely something you're going to want to have a look at. Okay, so let's see if my phone will share with us again. Come on, you know you want to play. Paul, did you go into it a different way, or?
What have you?
While he's trying to screen mirror for me again, I will. What else can I show you on here? You can save into your folders. Also, everything you do on Canva, you can click on all your designs, and everything you've created previously will come up. So say if I wanted to create another new image for this company, and if I, there we go, we are screen sharing now, and move that across. If I wanted to, for example, change this and I wanted to talk about the health benefits of turmeric, I would go off to Pixabay. I would type in turmeric, get a nice image of turmeric. Have I spelt it wrong? No. Okay, so I couldn't get one from Pixabay. So if I went to Google, typed in turmeric tools, sorry, turmeric images, tools, usage rights, label for reuse, and there's one flicker that I can use. So I might say, right, I want to save this image, and I want to upload it into my Canva account, pull that across here, change this word to turmeric, just like that, you've got a new creative. I want the frame to be the same because I want it to look at the colors are already in their branding. It's got the little swirl here from their logo on it. So yeah, it can be that easy. Once you've put your thought and your plan behind it, and you've thought about how you want things to look, it just makes everything that bit easier. So finally, I'm going to show you. Let's have a look on my mobile. Quick, because I didn't show you that one. So into Quick we go. And all I would do here to create a video is, once again, I'm going to click on that plus button to add something new. That opens my photos, and I can do a mixture of photos and videos in here. You can see I've just had a new granddaughter, so her photos are all over. I click on the button that says add 6, and just like that, you can click on here and you can change your text if you want to. Okay, just like that, and we'll call it Peggy. Click OK. And it's stitching all these the different images I've chosen together. But look along here, we've got all these different versions of it. If you like to do something that's a bit more vintagey, you use Dandy. You see the sort of filter that's got on there. It might be that you want to make it look like the images are being tossed onto a table. And then when you've got the one you want, you just click on the Save button. And again, I put it into my photo library. Okay. I shall stop sharing. And if you've got any questions, we shall finish off with that.
Yes, we've got one question here from Peter asking, saying apologies for asking for the second time, but how would you start your first story, but in a very basic explanation for that, so if that's possible.
Yeah, sure. So your first story, you would open your Instagram app. There we go. And when you're on Instagram, you would click on this camera in the top left-hand corner. You could then either just take a photograph in the normal way by clicking this. Let's take it off the bunny ears, eh? There we go. You could just click on that button to take a photograph, or you could click on this little square bottom left, which opens up your camera or the photographs that you've got stored in your phone, and choose your image. You would then put stickers on it or text on it or draw on it, anything you want to do by using these icons across the top. For me, I would normally put on a little moving sticker, like for this one, because it's all about bees, I put on that moving bee. I would then probably put another sticker on to do location, and you can type any location in that you want. You could put in your office address or just an area that you're in or you want to be noticed in. You can tag people as well if you want to. So we'll put in Be Beautiful. There we go, there she is. Or what we could do here is one of the sort of newer stickers that came out at the start of lockdown was the support local business. So I could say support small business, type in her company name, Be Beautiful, there we go. And pop that down here. We'll get rid of Gator because it's just looking too busy. And then you would click on that button, the bottom left-hand corner that says your story. So that goes to both my Instagram story and my Facebook story at the same time. That looks fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting cocktail.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool now.
Fantastic. They've been trained well.
Definitely.
Brilliant. So that's how you'd create that first Instagram story. And thereafter, to add to it, you just do that in the same way. So you would go back into exactly the same place and click on that camera icon in the top left-hand corner and add your next part to your story. And normally I would advise, if you're going to use this so that you're in your customers' faces all the time, 3 times a day is perfect. 3 updates a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at lunchtime, 1 in the evening. So when you're posting your new morning post the next day, that goes on to the end of it. So it starts off with your lunchtime, your evening post from yesterday, and your new post from this morning.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's all the questions we have now. But I'm just going to mention a few things about what we have coming up at Digital Knowledge Exchange and Digital Drive, County Durham. I'm just going to briefly share my screen now. And whilst I'm doing this, think if you've got any more questions, please do think of them and send them through. So, oh, wrong slide. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so yes, so for more webinars, please do visit the websites that come up on the screen. We have 12 available until the end of September, which are just here. So we've got 2 left in August, both on SEO. And September, there's loads there to really get involved with, as you can see on your screen. At the Digital Knowledge Exchange, we also have the Virtual Mentoring Day taking place on the 25th of August, which is a series of one-to-one consultations for your business, and on a range of topics, including cloud accounting, content creation, digital marketing strategy, as you can see on the screen there, loads of stuff that you can really get that expert and impartial one-to-one advice on. So the booking deadline for that is Thursday at 12 p.m. So if you're a Leeds City region business, please do book onto that because we've still got some spaces left there. So I believe that's pretty much most of what I have to say. But then also in your follow-up emails today, you'll receive all the useful links and also our feedback survey. We like to keep our fingers on the pulse of what your experiences are like during these webinars. So it'll be really helpful if you could help us by completing the 2-minute survey. And also don't forget, when posting on social media, tag us in your posts and we'll be able to interact with them, increase your reach, all that type of stuff. And we'll want to engage you more online as well, especially in this where we really can't engage at sort of physical events, physical training. We'd love to engage you more on social. So that's about it. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I'd also like to thank Amanda for providing such a brilliant session, and I think a lot of people are going to go away from this with a real creative inspiration, and to sort of really test out all these amazing tools that you shared with them today.
Brilliant. I hope so. Do play with them. That's the important thing. Go and play with them, build your confidence on them, and see how creative you can be.
On that great message, we'll sign off there, and thank you very much for coming.
Lovely. You're welcome. See you all later.